Lincoln. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing Lincoln's birth story. I'm so excited to share this because when I was pregnant, that's what I did. I went on YouTube and I watched every single birth story I could find because I wanted... We're learning not to touch the tripod. There's a little nugget. Almost won! On Saturday! I'm gonna try to do this video with him. I was gonna wait till he was napping, but his nap's at 11:30 and it's about 1:30 right now, and he was in there for like an hour by himself, not napping. So I'm gonna try not to be super distracted because that can definitely happen to me sometimes.
A few moments later.
It's a magical thing. Babies. Wow! He's gonna find my Oreos. So, it all started the night before. I just was so uncomfortable. And granted, this is par for the course when you're 9 months pregnant, but I was really uncomfortable. Like, I had a ton of cervical pain, and so I thought, okay, I'm just running out of room, I need to pee. I peed like 5 times that night. Towards the end of the amount of times that I was peeing, towards the end, I saw something in the toilet and I messaged my midwives and I said, I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, I just lost my mucus plug. That was like at 3 o'clock in the morning and I didn't really sleep. I just kind of like was tossed and turned. Lincoln. Oh my god, this is gonna be a video. Okay. You can play with this. This is so cool. Why do you not find this cool? Okay. So, where was I? It was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I finally went to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, which was the last thing I wanted because I knew that if I was going to go into labor, I really wanted to be rested up. That's like my one piece of advice if I had to give people advice is when you think you're about to start labor, sleep because you're going to need it. Labor can last easily 30 hours long. I was really grumpy because I was like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sleeping at all. I was upset. Finally got to sleep, woke up at 6 o'clock, so 3 hours later, woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was having contractions. I knew I was in labor the minute I woke up. I peed again, because, you know, pregnancy. And I told my husband, you should probably stay home today. I was like debating whether to have him stay home or not because I know labor can be 30 hours. And I was like, sorry, the tripod's moving, my baby's touching it. Okay, we're back again. I was like, do I really want him to stay home from work just for the beginning part of labor? But I decided I'd rather have him with me just in case. I don't know how long my labor is gonna be. Okay, this is just peachy. We're working on Mama's patience today. Okay, I tried to go back to bed, but right off the bat, my contractions were really painful. They weren't just tensing or anything like that, and I think that's just because I had a really fast, really intense labor, because the faster it is, usually the more intense it is. I think that's what was happening. My sister had a really long labor, 30 hours. It was ridiculous, but she started off with her contractions, being able just to go out still and talk to people, act like nothing was happening. Mine was definitely not like that. So at that point, I was like, I'm gonna get up. I know that walking and standing can make the labor go faster, and of course that's what I wanted. So I stood up, I walked around, tried to give myself just things to do. I watched the British baking show a lot when I was in labor. It was super pleasant and just a lighthearted show that kept me entertained and kind of had my mind off of things. I also had like a heating pad that I would put across my lower stomach, which is where I was feeling a lot of my contractions, and I just kind of leaned against the bed with a heating pad on my stomach, just trying to relax. I walked up and down the hallway a couple times. I folded my cloth diapers. If you're just sedentary, if you're just sitting, it's going to take longer for the baby to descend, and I just wanted that baby out as fast as possible. While I was folding my cloth diapers, I had, for some reason, this kind of sporadic, really intense contraction, and I was like, okay, I'm getting in the shower. I got in the shower and just had hot water running over my back, which really helps. I love the shower. I was in the shower probably 90% of my labor. It was amazing. My husband called the midwives, let them know that we were in labor. They're just like, hey, let us know like when you want to come in and stuff. They recommend that you don't come in until you can't talk through your contraction, like that's the pain level that you want to be at, because at the birth center that I had him at, they wouldn't let you stay unless you were at least 6 centimeters dilated. I did not want to be sent home. I did not want to go in and have them be like, you're at a 3, and then send me back home. So I was waiting as long as possible at home. I liked to labor at home because I was most comfortable there. I didn't go in because of the pain. They were really intense, but I was like, I can still kind of talk through them. So I was like, I'm not gonna go in yet. But all my contractions from the very beginning were really close together. They started off, okay, I did this math the other day. Let me try to remember. 2 minutes apart, and they just got like a little bit less than 2 minutes, like towards the end. So they didn't change that much, but they were always really close together. Oh, you're okay. Oh, you're okay. Is it the worst? Is it the worst? They always were really close together and about a minute long. So they recommend 4-1-1 when you go in. 4 minutes apart, 1 minute long for 1 hour. Mine were 2 minutes apart from the very beginning. But as soon as they started getting closer to like a minute long and a little bit less than 2 minutes apart, it was like, I do not want to have my first baby at home or in the car. I'm gonna go in, this is pretty intense, you know, just see where we're at. We had like packed our birth bag, but there were things that we couldn't put in it to the last minute. And so we finished packing up, put the towel down in the front seat just in case my water broke in the car. I didn't want it to go everywhere. I'm gonna check on him real quick. Okay. The ride-in was actually not too bad. My husband, as a push present, fixed the seat heaters in our car, and so it was like this gigantic heating pad all along my back, and it was so nice. On the way in is when we texted our family that we were in labor, because we didn't tell anyone because we didn't want everyone to just keep texting us being like, how's it going, is he here yet? I texted them saying, hey, we've been in labor since 6 o'clock this morning, because it was about 4 o'clock at this point. Then they started texting back these really sweet texts like, oh, you got this and you can do this, we're here for you, praying for you, let us know if you need anything. And it was so sweet. I was like in this super emotional state because one, you're like so tired, you're going through intense pain, you're very emotional, you're pregnant, all the hormones, you're about to meet this baby that you've been waiting for 9 months. I was sobbing. Mom texted me separately and she's like, so try to relax through the contractions. Totally not possible for me. My contractions were so intense. Every time one would come, my foot would just like push against the floorboard and my back would be pushed against the seat, and I was rigid. It was very intense. If I was to use one word about my labor, it would be intense. It was intense from the very beginning to the very end. It was physically impossible for me to relax into my contractions. My sister said that that was like the best thing she could do is just try to relax into the contraction. Again, very different labors. Every birth is different. But this is my experience. I could not relax. It was ridiculous. Yeah, that's not happening. That's physically impossible for me right now. Meanwhile, I'm trying to read these sweet texts to my husband that people were sending. I'm sobbing. He's laughing at me. I'm laughing at myself while having this very intense contraction that I can't even move. It sounds weird, but it was my favorite part of the whole labor was the ride-in, because it was just this joy of like my family, their love for me, and it was my husband. Just realizing we're gonna meet our baby soon, and even though it was intense and I was kind of freaked out the whole time, it was great. So then we get to the birth center. My plan was, I was like, I'm gonna have a contraction, then we're gonna run into the birth center, hopefully talk to them, get in the table, all that stuff, before I have another one, which is a lot to ask in like that amount of time. I had a contraction in the car, then we go in, and everyone's so sweet, and she checks me and she's like, do you wanna know how far along you are? But I was like, can I stay? That was like the only thing in my head, just don't send me home, don't tell me I'm at a 3, because I don't know if I can do this if I'm at a 3. And so she's like, you can stay, you're at a 7. So I went into the birth center when I was 7 centimeters dilated. At that point, I was like, if I'm at a 3, I do not think I can do this. If this is a 3, I cannot get to a 10.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
I was like, if this is a 3, I cannot get to a 10. I was like, I really don't know if I can do this. But as soon as she told me I was a 7, I was like, oh, 7. Like, and I only have to get to 10. I was like, I can do this. So we just went into the room, tried to lay down on the bed to like relax or rest, which is not what my body wanted to do. I stood up practically my whole labor. Turned on the TV again because I was like, I hope like this will get my mind off of it. How I Met Your Mother was on TV and I loved that show, so I really wanted to watch it, but I just couldn't focus. I got in the shower again, 90% of my labor in the shower. I had this like weird birth stool thing that, because I kind of was leaning against the bed and I kind of wanted to do that in the shower, but in order to lean against the stool like that, I kind of had to be in this really low squat, which is probably the reason that he was born so quickly, was because he just descended super fast in the shower. He's pooping right now. I'm sorry if you hear like grunts and stuff from the background. He's definitely pooping. I was like squatting in the shower, which probably helped him descend super fast, but I went through transition and it was really intense. Again, that word, intense. I was just leaning against the stool and then like a contraction would come and I would just rock. Like, I was just rocking. You're just coping. At this point, I was just coping with the pain. Say to myself, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. I don't know why. When you're in labor, you're not like, oh, like peaceful, like they make it seem in all those pretty videos. Those are very like flattering, but it's not the way it is. It's like you're just coping. It's really cool. It's kind of a cool thing to see your body just coping and dealing with it, and you just kind of are along for the ride. It's really cool. Couple minutes of that, a couple hours, I have no idea. Time is irrelevant when you're in labor. You don't know what's happening. You're just you're just so self-absorbed with yourself. You don't even know how many is going. But a couple contractions through in the shower, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I got up off the floor by myself, which was like a lot of work. I called my husband in, and when I dried off, there was a lot of blood on the towel. They should come and check me again. As my first baby, I don't know what's happening. And they checked me again, and I was at a 10. And again, it was like that I was deflating a little bit, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, this is getting really exhausting. She was like, you're at a 10, you're complete. Another boost of, oh, I'm at a 10. Now it's like I can have this baby. This is the worst of it. This is the worst it's gonna get, and that was really encouraging for me. I wasn't at a 7 still. Yes! I wanted a water birth, and so that's when they started to fill up the tub. And it took like ages for them to fill up the tub. They all went out of the room to get water or all their equipment, whatever. All of a sudden, my body just knew what it was doing. I had a contraction. My body started to push. It wasn't a mental thing at all. It just happened. It was so natural. I just grabbed my husband's arm and I was like, oh my god, he's coming. My water broke all over the floor. I felt really bad for them because they have to clean it up and stuff, but they're so great. He went and got the midwives and he's like, her water broke, and they're all like, okay, let's get in the tub. They're all like chill and happy, which is great. They're all like helping me walk to the tub because I was like, oh my god, I can feel my baby coming. Like I just feel everything. Stopped at the edge of the tub, had another contraction, and my body just pushed again. One of the midwives, she's so sweet. She's like, let's try not to push until we're in the tub. And I wanted to laugh. Are you kidding? I can't control this. My baby's coming. I'm not pushing because I choose to. I'm pushing because that's what my body's doing. There was no stopping that baby from coming out. I got in the tub. My contractions slowed down a ton. At that point, it was not about the pain. It was just about pushing the baby out. So relaxing, and I just closed my eyes. I really don't think I opened my eyes again until he was born. I was in quite a bit of pain, and so I like got in all like crooked, and then the midwife was like, okay, again, super sweet. She's like, let's adjust your hips a little bit more so the baby comes out nice and straight. And I just I think I sighed. It just felt like so much work to adjust my hips straight. I was like, I don't think I can do this. That's what you're like at the end of labor. You're just like, so fatigued. Hi, peekaboo! He's playing with the drapes. So sorry if I'm getting a little bit of like strobe lighting. It's just my baby. I took everything in me, but I adjusted my hips straight. And every contraction, I pushed. My body just knew what it was doing. And it's not like this for everyone, so if it wasn't for you, don't feel like bad about it or anything. My body knew exactly what it was doing. Thank God, because I didn't. When they're like, we can see his head, do you want to feel it? And I did, I really did, but I was so tired. I had my hands on the side of the tub. If I take my hand off the side of the tub, I felt like I was just gonna slide down into the tub and drown. That's how tired I was. But I really wanted to, and I knew that I would regret it if I didn't. It took me like 5 minutes or something ridiculous, and I felt his head, and it was all like wrinkly. He just fell off the step and I cut his head. Wow, Mama's the coolest mama. I'm a troublemaker. It was so cute though. And I remember touching his head, kind of like a moment of like, oh my god. Uh-oh, he found my Oreos. More contractions came and I pushed the head out. I didn't have any like ring of fire is what it's called. So that's good. I pushed the head out and then I was like immediate relief because I was like, okay, that's the hardest part. Like I know that. I know that the head is the hardest part. The rest is gonna be like, not easy, but like relatively easy. It took me like a couple pushes for the body and then he finally came out. I really wanted to catch him, but I was not in the physical state. If I couldn't even reach down and touch his head, I'm not going to be able to catch my baby. They caught my baby, they put him on my chest, and then they started doing their stuff. I was holding him. I just said like, hey buddy, because he was like crying, and then he just like opened his eyes, and they were just these big black newborn eyes. I was like, I didn't really say anything. I was just like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Delivering the placenta was not bad at all. A lot of people say that they weren't expecting that. I totally knew it was coming. Like I'm gonna get this thing out so I can be done. It was super easy. It was kind of almost a relieving feeling. It wasn't painful or anything. We did delayed cord clamping, so we waited for it to stop pulsing and then we cut the cord. At that point, I didn't want to move. I was in this tub. I was like, this is great. Even though I'm in a tub filled with my own blood and placenta and stuff, I did not want to get up. I was so tired. I was like, okay, I'm done. I have my baby. Can we be done now? Of course we weren't, because then they want you to get up, get in bed. They want to check you for tearing. You have to do the newborn exam. They want you to pee before you leave. Ugh, that's pretty much how I felt at this point. Had Brent hold Lincoln for the first time, which is special. I stood up, and this was like some of the weirdest parts of giving birth. One, you feel your organs sink down to where like they used to be ish. Really hard time breathing. It was like I could not take deep breaths. I don't really know why. They had this like, you know, the doggy pee-pee pads? They had one like in between my legs because you're losing so much blood. You know those like ice cream containers? That's how much blood you lose during labor. Yeah, there was a lot. Having a water birth was definitely a clean way though to deal with the blood. I got out of the tub, they got me in the bed, I got to hold my baby again, they put him on my chest, we were doing skin to skin, they were checking me for tears, which doesn't matter how many people tell you this, your baby does not distract you nearly enough from the tearing situation. I was like, can you stop probing around? Because they were all down there like, what's this? What's this? Can you please stop? Just deal with it. You have a small tear, but if you promise to keep your legs literally like tied together, we will glue it, not stitch it. And I was like, anything to not get stitches. Like that is like my biggest birth fear was stitches. So I was like, glue it and I will tie my legs together, I promise. They had made us a meal. The first hour was pretty much just Lincoln and me, skin to skin with my husband. It was just the three of us. They came back in later and they did the newborn assessment. They're like, let's try to get you to the bathroom so you can try to go pee. We need you to pee before you leave or we're gonna have to put a catheter in you. And that's like the last thing you want. Everything just came out. You don't want to put something in. Every time you move after you have the baby, like you feel like blood just pouring out. I get up, you feel all this blood. They're helping me walk to the bathroom. I sit on the toilet, which is horrible. Horrible. Like you're sitting there. Everything that just happened down there, it's like there's this ring on the toilet and everything feels like it's just falling and you're just like, can I not sit on the toilet? Can I just not do this? But you have to. Then I was like, I'm passing out right now. And I just like passed out onto the midwife. She was like holding me up. She was like super sweet and I just passed out on the toilet. And then they had these smelling salts that they used and the only thing I remember was just my body was just like like it just made me take in this huge breath and then I like woke up. Okay, like we're okay. They gave me oxygen because one, I can't breathe, like I still can't take deep breaths, which probably didn't help the passing out situation at all. And I lost a ton of blood and I pass out on the regular anyway. As just a person, I pass out a lot. Let's do this quickly, like let's change your pad, let's take some ibuprofen, let's get you back in bed. And my mom came and my dad came and my brother came because my mom was gonna come stay with us. Even if you can do it by yourself, why? When you could have someone help. They came, they got to see him. I was in 7th heaven. It was amazing. And 1 year later and it's like I still loved my birth. I loved how it turned out. I probably missed some details because that's what happens. You forget a lot and I try not to. I really try not to. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I'm gonna do more videos on like the actual postpartum, everything after the birth and just what I didn't expect and things to help. So if you're interested in videos like that, go ahead and subscribe so you know when they're coming. And Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a good day.